on a beautiful sunshiny day here in San Diego, California. Welcome to Qualcomm Stadium and Happy New Year, everyone. The 11-4 Kansas City Chiefs about to face the 5-10 San Diego Chargers. There is Andy Reid, his team headed for the postseason here in his fourth season in Kansas City, and Mike McCoy also in his fourth year here in San Diego, the head coach of the Chargers. Greg Gumbel along with Trent Green, Jamie Erdahl roaming the sidelines for us. We'll keep you updated on all that is happening. A reminder to you, this game is being broadcast in Spanish. We're available using the SAP button on your television. The Chiefs won the toss. They have deferred, so San Diego gets this opening kick. Isaiah Burse, a couple of yards deep in his own end zone. To the 20, and out close to the 30-yard line. Lots and lots of ways to describe Chargers quarterback Philip Rivers. Trent, durable, certainly one of them. He makes his 176th consecutive start today. That is 11 seasons worth of football.
That's very impressive when you think about the wear and tear that these guys take back in the pocket, and the fact that he's been productive for so many years. As we just saw, 8 seasons, in 8 of his 13 seasons, over 4,000 yards passing.
So many injuries have hit these San Diego Chargers, and their lineup doesn't resemble anything close to what it looked like on opening day. Philip Rivers throwing. This is Hillman coming out of the backfield and looking for a first down the sideline, and he has it in more. He's bumped out of bounds at about a yard short of midfield.
Well, and that's one of the positions that's been devastated by injuries, is the running back position. Hillman, only having been with the team for a few weeks, just comes with a swing route out of the backfield in man-to-man coverage and outflanks the linebacker, getting to the edge. Hillman now already the 5th running back starting for the San Diego Chargers. If they are they without Melvin Gordon again today?
380.
To midfield, and just across midfield is Andre Williams. As I said, a team hit so hard by injuries. San Diego loses left tackle King Dunlap to a knee injury today. Number 75, Chris Hairston, starts for him. And among the backs and receivers, the great Antonio Gates, looking for the touchdown catch that would tie him with the great Tony Gonzalez for the most by a tight end all time. 2nd and 8.
Hey, Flower Tiger! Flower Tiger! Tula! Set! 380!
Rivers, quick slant, and that is complete, and about a yard or two short of a first down is Tyrell Williams. In the middle of Kansas City's 3-4 defensive front, nose tackle turned quarterback Dontari Poe. The Chiefs lose linebacker Justin Houston to a sore knee again. He didn't play against Denver last week. Tamba Hali starts for him today. And Pro Bowl cornerback Marcus Peters coming into this final week of the season. His 5 interceptions ties him for second most in the NFL. 3rd and 2.
Stay focused.
Rivers over the middle, threads the needle for the completion to tight end Hunter Henry for the first down. We talked to Philip Rivers, Trent, and he talked about so many newcomers in the lineup, he'd have to personally tell them all where to go prior to a play, and he did just there.
He knew he was going to have extra time in the huddle just to get everybody on the right page. Hunter Henry has missed some time himself with dealing with injuries, but 7 touchdown catches on the season. He's been a nice addition added with the combination of he and Antonio Gates at the tight end position.
380.
So first down now from the Kansas City 35. Rivers trying to set up the screen, and that falls incomplete. Andre Williams, the intended receiver. Let's talk about your keys to the game for the day.
Well, yeah, when you look at Kansas City, no big pass plays. The Chargers are known for big pass plays. Philip Rivers has 16 passes over 40 yards, which is second in the National Football League, and staying healthy. Kansas City has already made the playoffs. Yes, they want to get the win and hope for an Oakland loss to move them up to the 2 seed, but they need to stay healthy moving into the playoffs. And then for San Diego, the 2 big weapons for Kansas City offensively are Kelsey and Hill. Have to contain them, don't let them win, and then protect Philip Rivers. That's where it's going to center around today, is Philip Rivers back in the pocket firing that football.
You're out, Delta, son.
Straight drop for Rivers. And throwing to the sideline, and the catch is made short of the 25 by Hunter Henry. We talked to Philip Rivers earlier in this season, and he couldn't have been higher on the future for Hunter Henry.
Yeah, he's been a nice addition, and Philip Rivers has quickly got on the same page with him, this time against the rookie Terrence Smith, and doesn't look like he touches him, and Hunter Henry jumps up and is able to pick up a few extra yards.
On first down, Andre Williams straight ahead to about the 20. And Chris Jones makes the stop.
Chris Jones, the second-round pick for the Kansas City Chiefs, has been a great addition up front, especially with the injuries they've dealt with after losing a couple of starters on the defensive line. But talking to Dontari Poe last night, he was saying what a nice addition Chris Jones has been, and his personality is a fun person. What you see out on the field is the way he is in meeting rooms as well. Likes to have fun, but likes to get into the backfield and cause problems for the other team.
2nd and 6. Rivers gives to Hillman, and Hillman to about the 18-yard line. These San Diego Chargers have chalked up 9 scores on their opening drives this year, and that's best in the National Football League.
Well, in 7 of the last 10 ball games, they've done that. So this is something they're very productive at. Game planning going into those games and getting touchdown drives to open things up, get that early lead.
3rd and 4. And Philip Rivers just networking his way up and down the offensive line. Rivers to the sideline, just threw it away. Under pressure, he goes down. And that'll bring the field goal unit on.
Bringing 4 this time, Kansas City. As you see, one peels off into coverage, so Jarvis Jenkins is the one with the hit there, 94. Forcing Rivers to throw it away, as you said, Greg.
So here's Josh Lambo. 24 of 30 on the season and a long of 47, as you see. This one a 35-yard attempt. And that is good. So the Chargers get on the board first with Lambo's field goal, and it's a 3-0 San Diego lead. These Chargers now 10 scores on opening drives this year. And those of you just joining us, we welcome you to Qualcomm Stadium in San Diego, where the Chargers and Philip Rivers has just engineered an opening drive resulting in a field goal and a 3-0 lead. Greg Gumbel, Trent Green, Jamie Erdahl with you. And while this game means nothing to the San Diego Chargers, it means everything to the Kansas City Chiefs. At least for the moment, they have the opportunity to advance from their current seeding, 5th in the AFC, to number 2 in a first-round bye should Oakland lose and Kansas City win here.
Well, they'll have an ear and an eye on what's going on in Denver in that Raiders and Broncos game, because as you said, it's the difference between a 2 seed and a 5 seed, difference between going on the road and playing at Houston next week or getting a bye week and having a home divisional playoff game. So a lot on the line for the Chiefs here today.
DeAnthony Thomas is deep for the Chiefs. And Thomas will take this one at 3. Little indecision, but breaks through, working his way to the sideline and out of bounds at about the 31. Here's what the AFC playoff picture looks like now. New England with a win over Miami today. Home field advantage throughout the AFC. Oakland currently holding down the number 2 seed. Pittsburgh and Houston locked in at 3 and 4. Miami, with the loss, will stay at the 6th seed, and Kansas City with a chance to move up, as I said, with a win and a loss by Oakland. We'll keep tabs of that game all afternoon for you. That one's just underway in the Bay Area. On first down, Charkandrick West, and West out to about the 35-yard line. Time for an update from the NFL Today. James Brown and Boomer Esiason.
Greg, Denver looking to play spoiler.
How about Denver? They go 8 plays, 84 yards. That's Devontae Booker, 11-yard TD run. They take a 7-0 lead over the Oakland Raiders as if Kansas City needs any more motivation.
Greg Gumbel, Trent Green, and Jamie Erdahl.
All right, JB, a couple of moments ago, I said that game was in the Bay Area. I lied. It's a mile high. Alex Smith, sideline, in and out of the hands of Chris Conley. So it'll be 3rd and 6.
Well, and that was one of the things we talked to Alex Smith about yesterday is because of the attention that's being drawn to Travis Kelce, because of the attention being placed on Tyreek Hill, you're going to have some opportunities against a secondary that's very banged up in terms of their corners. They're missing both starting corners, have been injured throughout different points in time during the season, banged up at safety as well. So you're going to find some matchups, whether it be with Maclin or Chris Conley or even Albert Wilson, that you can take advantage of.
Tyreek Hill is on the field now at the bottom of your screen. Smith throwing wide open on the near side of the field, complete to Charcandrick West, and West run out of bounds. And we have a penalty marker down. Our referee today is Walt Anderson.
Well, it came from back in the secondary.
Illegal hands to the face, number 42, defense. A penalty is declined, result of the play is completed pass, first down.
Penalty is on Trevor Williams. And a 29-yard pickup gives Kansas City the first down. Charcandrick West getting some extra playing time. Spencer Ware, the Chiefs' leading rusher, not available today with sore ribs.
Well, Charcandrick West is a good pass catcher coming out of the backfield, so they'll utilize him. We saw there it was an easy catch, wide open in the flat, but they'll continue to use him throughout the day in the passing game as well as the running game.
West slips and falls, and he'll be marked down at about the 32-yard line. Well, for Kansas City, up front, Mitch Morse, only in his 2nd season, the youngest of a young and talented line. And Pro Bowl tight end Travis Kelce having an outstanding year, 84 catches, more than 1,100 yards, and 4 touchdowns. Second and 5. This is Niall Davis. And Davis looks like he may have lost a yard on the San Diego defense. Huge bright spot for the future. His first-round draft pick, Joey Bosa, 9.5 sacks in this rookie season for him. At linebacker, Denzel Perryman did not practice this week with the bad knee, won't play today. Jatavis Brown starts. And in the secondary, the NFL's interception leader, number 26, Casey Hayward, on the corner, named to the Pro Bowl for the first time. He has 7 picks. So 5 wide receivers now on 3rd and 6. Smith down the near sideline. It is caught at the 10-yard line. Jeremy Maclin with the catch. And it looks like it'll be 1st and goal for Kansas City.
Well, and this is good coverage that Hayward has in the slot. Maclin just running up the numbers, working to the outside. Alex Smith putting the ball to the back shoulder, and Maclin having the control to turn and secure the catch as he goes to the ground.
So from the 10-yard line, Kansas City. 1st and goal. Charcandrick West in the backfield. West with the handoff, and he's going to lose yardage. Joey Bosa spun him back to about the 13-yard line.
Well, that's something that Coach Pagano, the defensive coordinator for the Chargers and this unit, take very seriously, is stopping the run. They're 10th in the National Football League, allowing 98 yards per game on the ground. Joey Bosa, who did not play against these Chargers in Week 1, having his presence felt not only as a pass rusher, but as you can tell from that, in the run game as well.
So second and goal now from the, call it the 14. Smith on the run and had to throw it away. Pressured by number 54, Melvin Ingram. It'll be third and goal. These teams met in week 1 of this NFL season, went to overtime, and the Chiefs won it 33-27. But that was a game both teams remember very well.
Yeah, that was remembered by the Chiefs in terms of what an incredible comeback. They were down 27-10 in the fourth quarter, able to come back and tie it, send it to overtime, and they won it on an Alex Smith rushing touchdown in overtime. Of course, the Chargers remember what could have been when you think of the success they had in those first 3 quarters, but not being able to finish the ball game.
Tyreek Hill in the backfield. He's going to come out of the backfield on a pattern, but Alex Smith is caught from behind by Joey Bosa. In his meeting with us, Andy Reid noted that Joey Bosa is the real deal.
He is the real deal, considering how many games he missed and the fact that he now has 10.5 sacks on the season, leads all rookies in the National Football League. He's made a big difference for this defense.
So Cairo Santos will line up a 35-yard field goal. On its way and good. And with 5:20 to play. Here in the first quarter, Joey Bosa's sack forces the field goal. We're tied at 3, and we're back after this. 5 minutes, 20 seconds to play here in the opening quarter as the Chiefs go 53 yards in 10 plays for the tying field goal. And Santos to kick to Burse. Line drive, bounces once, and here's Burse fumbling it forward and picks it up to the 20. And spins forward to about the 24-yard line. Well, we all loosen up in different ways. It's not my way, but it's Travis Kelce's way.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by Southwest. Yes to low fares with nothing to hide. That's transparency. Garmin Fitness. Let's beat yesterday. And by the Lincoln Motor Company.
Welcome back to San Diego. On that kick return, linebacker Daddy Nicholas, the rookie linebacker out of Virginia Tech, injured, and as you can see, they brought the cart out to cart him away. Here's what happened, Trent.
We can see, he gets peeled back right there, right at the 20-yard line. See there that he peels, but you see that left leg get bent underneath, and now they're getting 52. Looks like that left leg gets bent underneath.
So they will take him off to the locker room and conduct the tests. 6th round draft pick of the Kansas City Chiefs.
Well, and that's a big loss when you consider the playoffs are coming up. Daddy Nicholas has been a big contributor on special teams, and with Justin Houston down today, Tamba Hali rotating into that spot, Frank Zombo also. That's a loss in terms of depth for today's game.
Let's go down to Jamie.
Greg, well, you noted earlier Kansas City without 2 very notable guys today. Running back Spencer Ware injured with a rib injury, and linebacker Justin Houston, as Trent just mentioned, he's down with a knee injury, although Andy Reid did tell us that he was optimistic Houston would be available to the Chiefs in the postseason.
Jamie, thank you. Andre Williams starting in the backfield behind Rivers on this series, and he gets the handoff. Nice change of pace and straight up the middle. Across the 35 to the 37-yard line, Eric Berry makes the stop.
Well, Philip Rivers told us in the run game there was going to be times where he would have to tell the guys, listen, this is just a handoff left or this is a handoff right, because in terms of trying to figure out from a running back standpoint all the injuries they've had there, it'll be running back by committee, but that time Williams with a good burst and great blocking up front.
So Rivers on first down.
Hey, watch the slip.
And you can see him giving more than his share of directions. This is Ronnie Hillman. And Hillman to about the 40. You thought your fantasy season was over? It's not. Sign up free and learn more at NFL.com/playoff challenge. You know, as if a quarterback's job isn't tough enough getting the play call in from the sideline or from upstairs. Now he's got to tell everybody almost individually what to do since there are so many newcomers.
There is, and even from a protection standpoint, that's where he said it would come into play the most, is on third down or in passing situations, getting the backs to understand with the multiple pressures that Bob Sutton and this Kansas City Chiefs defense likes to use, getting them all on the same page.
Penalty marker is down and Rivers throws, and oh, what a catch made across the 50-yard line to about the 48. Once again, it's Hunter Henry, but let's check the flag.
Offside, number 55, defense. That penalty is declined, result of the play. First down.
D. Ford guilty of the penalty, but what a catch by Hunter Henry.
Philip Rivers stepping up in the pocket and finding Henry as he reaches up. If he doesn't come up with this, or if that ball tips up in the air, you can see Marcus Peters behind him, number 22, and Ron Parker to the outside. That ball could easily have been intercepted. You mentioned it already, how much Philip Rivers likes Hunter Henry.
Play fake. And the pass to the sideline is incomplete, intended for Hillman. It'll be 2nd and 10. So Melvin Gordon, finished for the season, put all kinds of pressure on head coach Mike McCoy to play today. And it just wasn't going to happen, but Gordon was an incredible contributor to this team this season.
Well, when you consider what happened with losing Danny Woodhead early in the season, and Melvin Gordon really wasn't much of a third down back. That was more Danny Woodhead coming in from a pass protection, pass catching standpoint. So Melvin Gordon all of a sudden became an every down back, and he accepted that role. He excelled at that role, and it's too bad that he's injured and not able to finish off this season today.
3 yards short of 1,000 yards for the season. So we get a timeout here. San Diego takes the timeout, and we're back in 30 seconds after this Verizon playoff update. So that's what we said at the top of the day. The Kansas City win and an Oakland loss at Denver puts the Chiefs as champions of the AFC West and a first-round bye, and they get a home playoff game, which only means everything in the postseason.
That's right. You want that extra week to not only to prepare but to get healthy. And I asked Andy Reid yesterday, do you have someone that will be on the sideline giving you updates of the game? And of course he was like, no, we're just focused on this game. And then he kind of looked out of the corner of his eye and he's like, well, I'm sure somebody will give me updates once we get to the second half. If I need to know about it, I don't know if it is going to be a necessary move or not. But he didn't want to talk about it. He wanted to focus on this game and focus on getting prepared to beat San Diego.
And if you think about it, you would have to consider what's going on elsewhere so that you know what to do with your own players.
Well, it would. It becomes a big factor when you're trying to decide, how do I approach this from a third down, or how do I decide to go for it on a fourth down, or do I kick the field goal instead of going for the touchdown? It's important to know what's going on in that other game because they're going on simultaneously. So I'm sure someone will be giving updates as that game progresses.
And let's not kid ourselves, they'll be updating the folks in Oakland as well about what's going on down here in San Diego. 2nd and 10.
White. Eddie hot. Hot step ball 3. Left. 380. Be hot.
Rivers. That's complete. Going across the middle of the field is Tyrell Williams, and he's out of bounds just short of the 30-yard line. Tyrell Williams getting some extra playing time in place of the injured Travis Benjamin today.
Well, and coming into this game, Tyrell Williams leads the Chargers in receptions and in receiving yards and is tied with Hunter Henry with 7 touchdown catches. He's a big play receiver, has great speed. He's been benefited from the fact that Keenan Allen got hurt in the first game, the Week 1 game against the Kansas City Chiefs, and he's taken full advantage of this opportunity.
Tyrell Williams with 5 touchdown catches in the last 7 games. This is Andre Williams. Inside the 30 to about the 27. And we always agree, Trent, and we know it for a fact that injuries are all part of the game. But having said that, these Chargers have been hit particularly hard this season.
Well, and when you consider the numbers, nearly 20 players have been put on injured reserve for the San Diego Chargers.
And now Ramik Wilson of the Chiefs is down. We'll take a break. Ramik Wilson not just standing on the sideline, but doing a little bouncing, so he looks like that he has shaken off whatever he went through on the field.
Well, and that's important that he's healthy. Obviously, losing Derek Johnson earlier in the year, Ramik Wilson has stepped up and one of the leaders in the huddle, definitely calling the defensive plays for the Chiefs.
2nd and 5 for Rivers and the Chargers.
Got non-bun. Got non-bun. Good. 380.
That is complete to Dontrell Inman, and Inman to about the 24, and we go down to Jamie.
Greg, just a few minutes ago, we saw Chiefs linebacker Daddy Nicholas carted off. He is out for the rest of the game with that left knee injury.
All right, Jamie, thank you. Meanwhile, we're looking at Ramik Wilson, who is reported back into the Kansas City lineup. 3rd and 3 as we come up on a minute and a half to play here in kind of a quick first quarter.
Has been rolling along very fast, and this is the part of the field where the Chiefs defense has really firmed up. They're 5th in the National Football League in points, and that's because they don't let teams get in the end zone, forcing them to field goals like they did earlier this quarter.
Rivers throws, and that is complete to Antonio Gates. And Gates looks like he's right about at that first down marker. We'll take a close look. We'll send you to New York.
How do you like this for the first carry of a game?
That's right. It's going to be Devontae Freeman. He's going to go 75 yards. This comes right after a New Orleans field goal, and this will be the 2nd touchdown of the day by the Atlanta Falcons. Matt Ryan's already thrown 1 touchdown pass. Falcons lead 14-3. They win. They lock up the number 2 seed in the NFC.
Back to Greg Gumbel.
All right, guys, you know, in all the conversations, as you see, it's going to be 4th and inches. All the conversations about possibilities of going to the Super Bowl, I'm not sure the Atlanta Falcons get quite enough respect.
Well, and they've got such an explosive offense. We saw right there their big play potential, not only in the running game, but Matt Ryan having an MVP type of season in terms of yardage and touchdowns and the points they've been able to produce in Atlanta. So, yeah, I agree with you, Greg. That's one of the teams that tends to get overlooked, and it's probably because Dallas has had such an explosive season over on the NFC side.
So the Chargers giving every indication they're going to go for it here on 4th and very short yardage. And why not? Mike McCoy, the rumor mills continue to swirl around him. Will he be back? Andre Williams in the backfield on 4th and 1. Williams got the first down. Ducks inside the 20 to about the 17-yard line. You know, there's so many things about this franchise, and we mentioned this could very well be the last game played here in San Diego, with talk of the Chargers possibly moving elsewhere, and Mike McCoy has been in the bullseye whenever the problems began to hit.
Well, and he has been, and he didn't want to talk about the injuries. You know, we were the ones that brought it up in the meeting. The fact is he believes in the character of the locker room. He feels like these guys have worked hard all week. They've worked hard all season. They've dealt with the injuries, and the next guy to step up has played hard and done the best they can.
Rivers to the 5-yard line, complete and out of bounds is Dontrell Inman. It'll be 1st and goal.
Dontrell Inman was a guy that received a lot of compliments from Philip Rivers in our meeting, and he said he's kind of filled that void in the middle of the field. He's Mr. Everything. He runs the slot, he works the outside, and
much to the dismay of the fans at this end of the field, time runs down. We've played 1.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by New York Life. With the right guidance, everyone can be good at life. And by Amazon Prime. Get free 2-day shipping on millions of items.
Very businesslike first quarter. Each team registering a field goal on an opening drive. We are 3-3 starting the second, and San Diego. First and goal, just inside the 5-yard line. Rivers lofting it, the end zone, and overthrew his intended receiver. We have a penalty marker down in the end zone intended for Antonio Gates.
Looks like they're going to have a holding call on the Chiefs against Antonio Gates, trying to prevent him from getting to the corner.
Prior to the pass, holding number 38, defense, half the distance to the goal, automatic first down.
That penalty is on the safety, Ron Parker.
A delayed release by Gates. See the right arm of D4. Watch 55. His right arm reaches out, grabs the jersey. That pulls him back. And then Ron Parker has his right hand on the top of Antonio Gates' jersey. So a couple jersey tugs there.
Antonio Gates has had himself a healthier season than usual this year. Half the distance to the goal. Rivers throwing this side of the field to the end zone. Touchdown, Gates! Career touchdown catch number 111, which ties him with Tony Gonzalez for the most by a tight end all time.
An impressive accomplishment by Antonio Gates, tying the all-time record, as you just said, of Tony Gonzalez. And we had a chance to talk to Antonio and the respect that he has for Tony Gonzalez, and feels like he's one of the pioneers of the tight end position. And we talked to him about the record, how much it would mean to him, and the fact that he did it here in San Diego.
Gates with his 7th TD catch of the year, the 84th time he's caught a touchdown pass from Philip Rivers.
One of those 84 is the most touchdowns from one quarterback to a tight end in NFL history.
Lambeau's extra point is good. 14:49 to play. Antonio Gates, one of the all-time greats with the touchdown catch, number 111 in his career. There are the numbers once again for Antonio Gates. 111 career touchdown catches, pulling him even with Tony Gonzalez. Nile Davis is deep for the Chiefs, and this will sail through the end zone for the touchback. And from our New York studios, we welcome the one and only Tony Gonzalez. I'm sure it's kind of a bittersweet moment, Tony, to see a guy equal your record, but I know you have as much respect for Antonio Gates as anybody, and probably more than most.
Yeah, you are absolutely right. I remember when he first came into the league, I was watching him in a preseason game, and I saw this guy, and they were saying he's a basketball player, and he caught a speed out route. And I said to myself, wow, that guy is going to be a very good tight end. And then watching him blossom into the player that he is today, my hat's off to him. I'm happy for him. Congratulations to him.
Hold on 1 second, Tony. First down for the Kansas City Chiefs from their own 25, and Alex Smith comes up throwing, and that is Jeremy Maclin.
Well, and he was telling us, Tony, that he had a lot of respect for your game. You were one of the guys that he wanted to emulate coming in the league. He was very open about the fact of knowing the history of the tight end position, whether it be Ozzie Newsome or Mike Ditka or those guys, but he was more of a fan of yours and just saw your work ethic. And Marty Schottenheimer told him that and said, this is how you have to get it done. And so he had a lot of compliments for you.
Yeah, and I watched him. It was the same way, back and forth. Every time we played against the San Diego Chargers, you bet your life on it that I was watching him to see what he was doing and how he was working those routes, and maybe I can make that part of my game. I think we just went back and forth. We collaborated a lot at the Pro Bowls, talking about catching balls. And like I said, he's just a great player. He pushed me to be my best, and I'd like to think I did that for him as well.
Hey, Tony, thanks for joining us. Congratulations to both of you.
Thanks, guys.
Meanwhile, the Chiefs have moved into San Diego territory. Line of scrimmage now, the 47.5-yard line.
Well, it's interesting. Tony said that they pushed one another, and that's the same exact thing that Antonio Gates told us yesterday. Is they said, you know what? You always kept an eye on each other and what their stats were and what their numbers were, and they did push each other.
Quick pass to the far side, and that's Albert Wilson. Wilson to the 20, to the 10, and tripped up before he got to the end zone. He'll be marked down just about the 5-yard line. Jaleel Adai making this tackle.
Well, just a quick throw to the outside, trying to get up the field. Eric Fisher comes out, tries to get the block, doesn't get the block, but gets in the way enough to allow Albert Wilson to get down the field.
When you have quick receivers, those short passes are a nice idea, aren't they, for a quarterback?
We brought that up, that 1-yard throw to Travis Kelce a week ago that turned into an 80-yard touchdown. Those are nice touchdowns to have.
First and goal. This is Alex Smith for the keeper, looking for the end zone touchdown. And a nice block out in front of him by Travis Kelce.
As soon as the defense collapsed and Alex Smith decided to keep the ball, you're right, Greg, it was the block of Travis Kelce on the outside that gets him into the end zone, as Alex Smith just gets inside of the pylon.
5th rushing touchdown of the season for Alex. And it looks like it's going to be one of those kinds of days on the scoreboard here in San Diego.
Been up and down for both teams, that's right. And total yardage, both teams are tied right at 128 yards. So buckle up, we're going to have one of those days.
Extra point is good. Alex Smith, 5th rushing touchdown of the season, ties Steve Bono for most in a single season by a Kansas City quarterback. Talk about a nice homecoming. Every time the Kansas City Chiefs come to town, it's Alex Smith back home. His touchdown run and the extra point, and we are tied at 10. And Santos set to kick it away to Isaiah Burst. And this will not come out of the end zone. It'll be a touchback. And for more on Alex, let's check in with Jamie.
Well, Greg, Alex Smith once told us he was kind of a wimp when it came to cold weather because he grew up not far from San Diego. He told us in our meeting last night his high school was just down the street. He played in Qualcomm when he won back-to-back CIF D2 championships for Helix High School. Again, 2-1 on the road against the Chargers. And he also was sad to hear about that potential that the Chargers would not be playing at Qualcomm anymore. He couldn't imagine in the childhood he had growing up with football in this area that the Chargers potentially couldn't be in this region anymore. He really was disappointed to hear the potential news for that.
Thank you, Jamie. By the way, nothing wrong with being a wimp about cold weather. Here's Andre Williams. And Williams breaking tackles across the 30 to about the 32-yard line. Ramik Wilson making the tackle.
Well, and I thought it was funny just hearing his stories of high school football in this stadium. He said, well, it was pretty much you got the ball to Reggie. You just Reggie Bush. You're either going to go right or left or pass it to whatever you could do to get the ball in his hands. It was think of that tandem in high school.
By the way, you saw that collection of beards standing on the sideline in Chiefs uniforms. I guess that's part of the deal when you play quarterback for the Kansas City Chiefs. 2nd and 3. Andre Williams again across the 35 to the 38-yard line, and that's a first down. Ramik Wilson again with the tackle.
Well, I think you're just going to see a continual rotation between running backs, between Hillman and Williams, and even a little bit of Derek Watt as they're trying to find what works in the backfield because of the number of injuries they've had. And right now it's working for them as they're already 48 yards rushing.
Andre Williams, 3rd year back out of Boston College, and as Trent mentioned earlier, pressed into service because of all the injuries on this Chargers squad. Again. got quick lateral movement, Trent.
He did a nice job dancing behind the line, just showing patience and, not just trying to fire it right into where it was supposed to go. He showed great patience as this play's supposed to go to the left. He just has that. He bounces over to his right, sees D Ford there, and he gets it up. Just showing a lot of patience right now.
2nd and 8.
You're still out, Hunter. Set green, enemy. Get up.
Rivers throwing this side of the field. That's incomplete. Intended for Hunter Henry. We heard Phillip say something to Hunter just before the snap.
Oh, that's so funny because he was just telling us all this stuff yesterday. It was, he turned around to the back and says, probably telling him what his protection responsibility was and where he had to go. And then he had McGrath over on the right, and he's even looking to the right, but Henry's to his left. He's like, you're still going out on this one, Henry. We could hear all the stuff up here. It's pretty much fallen right into the plan that Phillip said he's going to have to execute throughout the entire day because of those injuries and making sure everybody's on the same page.
3rd and 8. Rivers throwing, intercepted, picked off at midfield. This is Marcus Peters, and Peters is out of bounds at the 30-yard line. Phillip Rivers was under pressure in the pocket, and Peters jumped the route.
Secondary pressure from Sorensen coming off the edge. This is Phillip Rivers' 20th interception on the season. Marcus Peters now with 6 interceptions. That's a lot. As a quarterback, when you're caught up in doing a bunch of things, when you're trying to get everybody on the same page, it takes away from your time to read the defense, to read the coverages, to read the pressures when you're trying to get I'm not trying to make excuses for him. I'm just telling you, when you're spending so much time and energy on all these other things, a lot of times you don't get as quick a read or as full of read on the defense. That time Marcus Peters, he does a good job of looking back into the backfield and reading quarterbacks. Peters getting the interception that time.
Well, you remember when I asked Mike McCoy when we talked with him if he's had to put even more on the broad shoulders of Phillip Rivers as a result of all the he said there's never ever been any doubt that he's the guy who carries our team. But I can't believe that his job has gotten any easier with all the injuries to key members of the offense.
Yeah, it definitely hasn't gotten easier. The responsibility even more so. Not only make sure the protection's good around him, but to get the right routes from him.
Charkandrick West right up the middle inside the 30 to about the 28-yard line. 32nd takeaway of the season by the Kansas City Chiefs, and that is tops in the NFL.
And they've scored so many times, too. If you think about their defense, they've got 4 interceptions returned for touchdowns. They have a fumble returned for touchdowns. So not only are they getting points and giving field position to the offense like they were doing on this drive, but they're also getting into the end zone with those turnovers as well.
Tyreek Hill is in the backfield now with Smith on 2nd and 4. And this is Hill down at about the 31-yard line. Kansas City, as we mentioned, trying to jump from the number 5 seed to the number 2 seed in the AFC. It would depend on what happens here, as well as up in Denver, where Oakland is playing the Broncos. And the Raiders trail the Broncos at this point 10-0. An Oakland loss, a Kansas City win, and the Chiefs are the number 2 seed with a first-round bye and champions of the AFC West. Alex Smith, Kelsey to the 22.
Well, and that's the guy you don't want to get lost in zone coverage. That time the Chargers in zone coverage, the main guy you have to concern yourself with in the pass offense of the Kansas City Chiefs is Travis Kelsey. He motioned outside and came back inside. All that is an indicator for Alex Smith to know if they're in man-to-man coverage or if they're in zone coverage. So it confirmed they were in zone coverage. Well, Travis Kelsey goes up and sits down at 5 yards. Nobody's within 5 or 10 yards of him. Easy throw, easy conversion for the Kansas City Chiefs.
So first down. Niall Davis in the backfield. And Smith to throw for the end zone. Down the side. Incomplete. That was Kelsey. It'll be 2nd and 10.
Well, he's lined up one-on-one with Dwight Lowry, the safety for the San Diego Chargers, working down the sideline. Looks like Lowry gets away with a left-handed tug of the jersey of Travis Kelce. But those are matchups as a quarterback. You start looking at size matchups. Travis Kelce 6'5", going down the sideline. That's a throw that you try and make a jump ball and make him go get it. That time not able to connect.
2nd and 10. And with the play clock winding down, Kansas City has to call a timeout. 8:27 to play in the first half of a 10-10 tie. Happy New Year, everyone. Welcome back to San Diego. 8:27 to play. 2nd and 10. Nile Davis in the backfield. Smith throws far side, and that was just a jumble on the far side, but Tyreek Hill could have been the intended receiver. There are a lot of people on that side of the field.
They had a lot clumped up over there, and you have Jeremy Maclin, you have Tyreek Hill, you have Travis Kelce, you have your three main targets for the Kansas City Chiefs, and the Chargers were all over it.
And Maclin got in the way, the path of the football. 3rd and 10. Kansas City 3 out of 4 on 3rd down today. And Alex Smith looking this way, an armed hit as he got rid of the ball, and we had a penalty marker thrown. Hill was the intended receiver on the near side of the field.
Prior to the pass, holding number 42 defense. That's a 5-yard penalty and an automatic first down.
That's Trevor Williams trying to get a hold of Tyreek Hill. Yeah, that's a pretty good hold.
Easy call when you reach your arm out there and grab it across. You see that left hand right there, right across Tyreek Hill's right shoulder. Joey Bosa putting great pressure on Alex Smith that time, hitting his arm as the ball flew into the air. But it was a holding call, so that didn't have an impact.
So 1st down now for the Chiefs. Smith on the move. Going to tuck it and run to the 10, sliding down short of the 5-yard line.
Alex Smith, the ball carrier.
You know, Trent, just coming across the line, Tyreek Hill is really fast.
Well, and the defense has to respect it. We had a chance to talk to Casey Hayward, and he said, listen, there's not many guys in the National Football League, let alone on this defense, that can run as fast as Tyreek Hill. So we have to have a lot of bodies around him and not get that speed going. We have to keep him contained. We have to get multiple bodies around him. So far, they've been able to do that.
2nd and 1. Gives to Charkandrick West, and West appears to have a first down at about the 6-yard line. Reminder coming up, the Verizon halftime report. JB and the guys, gee, what do they have to talk about today? The latest NFL scores, highlights, playoff scenarios, and news, all coming up on the Verizon halftime report. Clock continues to move as we come up on 7 minutes to play in the first half. On 1st down, Charkandrick West straight ahead inside the 5 to about the 4. These Kansas City Chiefs over the last 27 games, hard to believe, since week 7 of last season, they've won 22 of 27 games.
Best record in the National Football League, and sometimes that gets forgot. But Andy Reid, as we take a look at the best records in the NFL since week 7, as you mentioned, Ray.
2nd and goal. Smith rolling, throwing, touchdown. West out of the backfield. Marcus Peters, the interception, and the Kansas City Chiefs convert at the other end.
Well, and Tarkandrick West is just going to leak out of the backfield after a quick flash fake. You'll see all these guys going down, and West comes out to the flat. You see, he almost misses that throw. That's one of the toughest throws as a quarterback. When you come out and you see the guy that wide open.
Too easy?
Yeah, you just want to flip it to him, and you can see Tarkandrick West had to lunge a little bit to catch that one.
Tarkandrick West, 1 rushing touchdown this season. That's his first on the receiving end. Santos for the extra point. And it is good with 6:09 to play in the first half. The Chiefs back on top. Alex Smith's touchdown pass, and it's a 17-10 lead.
NFL on CBS is sponsored by Acura. Precision crafted performance. AT&T. And by Progressive, handing off big savings to you.
Some nice pictures from the world-famous San Diego Zoo, which opened back in 1916. Has nearly 4,000 animals, and it's kind of like a stationary Noah's Ark.
I love that zoo. I've been to it several times. It's yeah, they got some unique animals from around the world.
Isaiah Burst not going to run this one out. Touch back to start the Chargers at the 25-yard line. Back on December the 6th, students at Baker Elementary in San Diego arrived for a special assembly, only to be surprised by 11 San Diego Chargers players. The Chargers presented the students with 150 brand new bicycles, one for each student in attendance, much to the delight of the kids. Tyrell Williams, Joey Bosa, Hunter Henry among those. Nice thing to do. Sometimes Christmas comes early.
You see the reaction of the kids. That's what was a great part about that story, just seeing their reactions.
6:09 to play in the first half. Andre Williams in the backfield behind Rivers. This is Williams. And Williams for about 5 to the 30-yard line. We check in once again for an NFL Today update in New York. JV and Boomer.
Quarterbacks remain an endangered species.
And this is going to be Matt McGloin right here. He's going to take a shot from Jared Crick of the Denver Broncos off the field. Hard to speculate what the injury is, but he does not look like he will return. Connor Cook, the rookie out of Michigan State, is now the starting quarterback for the Oakland Raiders.
Trent Green knows those hazards. Back to Greg Gumbel.
All right, guys, thank you.
Wow, how the tides have turned for the Oakland Raiders here in the last couple weeks.
Yeah, this is Andre Williams. Very close to a first down at the 35-yard line. He'll be about a half a yard short. And is there ever any better proof than that of having to always be ready to play?
It's unbelievable when you think of, many people around the league thought Derek Carr was having an MVP type of season, and getting the Raiders to the level that they were at had a lot to do with his performance this season. And now in a matter of, just a few quarters, all of a sudden now they're to the rookie Connor Cook, and see what happens moving forward.
3rd and 1. And Rivers will throw on the slant. That's to the 40 and complete to Tyrell Williams for the first down. So now, with the various injuries, take a look at the probable starting quarterbacks in the AFC. Who would have guessed that?
Yeah, and we were keeping an eye on this game here. Savage got knocked out of the game for a little while. I think he came back in the game from what we're hearing, and McGloin just went down. We don't know how serious that is. So even though you have your superstars down here in Brady, and Alex obviously has had his time in the playoffs as well, it causes some concern when you go in with questions at the quarterback position.
Matt Moore pressed into duty because of the injury to Ryan Tannehill. Here's Rivers. Got hit as he released it. It's incomplete.
Well, and where Rivers was really trying to go is he had Tyrell Williams running down the right sideline with Ron Parker. He tries stepping into this throw. This was going to be a long throw. You could see by his shoulder plane he was tilted and trying to throw deep. You see Tyrell Williams will work to the outside. Does an out and up against Ron Parker as he's getting up this sideline. as soon as Rivers saw that matchup, his fastest receiver against the safety, he was going to give his guy a chance.
And once again, Chris Jones, the one applying the pressure. And this is Ronnie Hillman. Hillman to about the 42, maybe the 43-yard line. You know, one of the things that we've talked about, and certainly it's been much discussed around NFL circles, is whether or not this is the last game to be played here in San Diego by the San Diego Chargers. We were talking with Philip Rivers about that, who has 8 kids. Imagine the task facing Philip and his wife about having to uproot a family of 8.
Well, and that's the seriousness that is involved in this, not just whether or not you're playing here or Los Angeles or wherever you may be playing, but all the families involved in the moving that's going to have to take place.
Oh, wide open is Antonio Gates, and Gates to the 35. Daniel Sorensen making the tackles.
Gates just running a sit-down route and out, and then you curl it up at the numbers. Eric Berry on the outside thinking he was going to continue running and go to the sideline, a flag pattern, but Gates sitting down right at the numbers in the window of that zone defense, and Rivers finding him.
So inside the 35, Rivers for Andre Williams, and Williams trying to change direction to about the 32. Well, San Diego's Antonio Gates, 111 career touchdown catches now, and as we said, that ties him for the most all-time among tight ends with Tony Gonzalez. 14 NFL seasons, 6 playoff appearances, and he had 8 catches and 94 yards last week at Cleveland. And it was really nice to hear Antonio say, I'm looking forward to next season, because there are those who've speculated, with all of the injuries that he's gone through, that he might not. Hillman spinning and on his feet and up the middle to about the 21-yard line and a first down.
Tremendous run by Hillman, spinning in the backfield to avoid the initial tackle, picking up the first down.
And that's DJ Fluker in the middle of everything with Dontari Poe. And finally get the big guys separated, and that is big.
Yes.
Dontari Poe, 346, going up against DJ Fluker, 339. I don't want to referee that. If you're a Kansas City fan, you have to love that score out of Denver, Colorado. 17-0 Broncos leading the Raiders. A Raider loss, a Kansas City win. And Kansas City goes to the number 2 seed in the AFC. This is Hillman. Not much running room as he ducks inside the 20 to about the 18-yard line. Dontari Poe making the stop. You know, we met with Dontari Poe, and I'm so glad that such a big guy is such a nice guy.
Well, we asked about his newfound celebrity since he had the touchdown pass a week ago against Denver. And he said, yeah, there have been a lot of requests. I try and fill as many of those as possible. Get a little bit more attention when you're a big guy throwing a touchdown pass as opposed to making a tackle.
Rivers shouting out instructions on 2nd and 7. He's going to throw for the end zone. It is Daniel Sorensen coming up with the ball. All the way to the other side of the field, and Sorensen came over from his safety position.
Rolling on the field is an interception for a touchback. First down, Kansas City. Timeout.
Intended for Isaiah Burse. Sorensen, they say he's kind of in the middle of everything that happens these days for the Chiefs. Here's a look at the play, and Daniel Sorensen. The question is whether he's in bounds or not, Trent.
Well, he clearly gets the left foot down right there, and then it's going to be the knee. The knee comes down on the top of Isaiah Burse before the right arm. The right arm makes contact over here on the sideline. So the knee doesn't actually make contact with the ground, but the fact that he's on top of Burse.
After reviewing the play, the ruling on the field stands. Interception, first down, Kansas City.
So Daniel Sorensen with his 3rd interception of the season, and Philip Rivers throws his 21st pick.
Well, and Walt Anderson said the ruling on the field stands. He didn't say it was confirmed. He said it stands, so there was nothing there that was enough evidence to overturn it. So since it was called an interception on the field, it stands as an interception and ball for Kansas City.
I thought Sorensen made a heck of a move on the play because his intended receiver looked open.
They looked to be a cover 2. Marcus Peters was in a trail position, just a corner route by Isaiah Burst. Good coverage by Sorensen to accelerate and get to the football.
On first down, Charkandrick West. And West just out across the 25-yard line. Brought down by Trevor Williams. Just a reminder, coming up, the Verizon Halftime Report. JB and the guys in New York with scores and highlights coming up on the Verizon Halftime Report. Alex Smith under pressure over the middle, and that's complete across the 30 to Tyreek Hill. By the time they hit the postseason, Tyreek Hill will not be a mystery to anyone.
He's not going to be an unknown, that's for sure.
And Mark Mann. Smith over the middle. This is West. And West brought down at about the 36-yard line, and we get a timeout on the field. Kansas City called the timeout. That's their 2nd here in the first half. They have 1 remaining. San Diego has 2 timeouts left. And we'll take a break with 30 seconds to play in the first half.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by Pizza Hut. No one out-pizzas the Hut. And by Bud Light. Strike gold and you could win Super Bowl tickets for life.
30 seconds to play in the first half here in San Diego. Cairo Santos hoping for a shot at a field goal before time expires. But they are a good ways away on 2nd and 4. Lots of movement both sides of the ball. And who gets the blame? Did you ever do any of that finger pointing, Trent?
No.
Neutral zone infraction number 54, defense. 5-yard penalty.
That penalty is on Melvin Ingram. A reminder tonight on CBS, when someone's kidnapped, this is the team that brings them back alive. Catch the series premiere of the new thriller Ransom tonight after 60 minutes, only CBS.
I always thought, why would you waste your time with the finger point there? I mean, you're not going to convince them or make them change their minds, right?
There's my follow-up question. Have you ever changed an official's mind? Ever? Smith with good time and throws to the far side, and complete and out of bounds is Chris Conley. 26 seconds on the clock.
So much attention being placed to the right side of the field where Travis Kelce and Jeremy Maclin are, that Chris Conley getting one-on-one on the backside with no underneath coverage. Just an easy pitch and catch for Alex Smith to Chris Conley.
West in the backfield. Now in San Diego territory from the 45. Deep drop for Smith. On the move. Penalty marker is thrown in the secondary as he heads for the sideline, and he's out of bounds short of the 40-yard line.
They're going to have a holding call in the middle of the field or an illegal contact.
If this is against San Diego, this is going to be a huge boost for Kansas City.
While the quarterback was in the pocket prior to the scramble, illegal contact number 38, defense. That 5-yard penalty will be added to the end of the run. First down.
So Trevon Reed is guilty of the penalty. And the Kansas City Chiefs now at the 37-yard line.
Well, and with 17 seconds and still 1 timeout, they're now in field goal range. This would be a 55-yarder for Cairo Santos, even if they don't gain another yard. But they can still utilize the entire field because of that 1 timeout they still hold.
West running right up the middle inside the 25. And Kansas City will use its third and final timeout to stop the clock with 12 seconds to play here in the first half.
Well, now what you have to worry about, since there's no timeouts and it's 12 seconds, do you go ahead and take the risk of running another play and then not being able to get the ball spiked in time because you have no timeouts?
Would you?
Or do you try throwing a boundary throw or an end zone throw? I would say I'd be more inclined to throw a boundary throw or an end zone throw. If you get the matchup, if not, just throw it away. You'd hate to run a drag route or something underneath and not be able to get up and get it spiked. If you're going to just kick the field goal, you let that clock wind down. Don't stop it at 12. Let it wind down to 5. Call the timeout. Kick the field goal. Okay, that's what we're content with. But the fact that you called the timeout here, the only other thing is if you want to run the football, you've got everybody near the line of scrimmage. You can run the football up the middle, get down, but I don't know what good that does you either. That's only going to gain you a few extra yards.
I saw Andy Reid having a heart-to-heart with his quarterback on the sideline.
Well, this is amazing here that they're in press coverage with no safety help over the top.
Alex Smith waiting, going, sideline. It is caught and out of bounds is Chris Conley. How great is that execution?
Well, that's only a fraction of inches from being tackled in bounds and keeping the clock running, and now you don't even get this field goal attempt, but perfect placement of the football to the outside.
And it turns it into a chip shot here for Santos at the end of the first half.
Trevon Reed having excellent coverage, but just the placement of that football high into the outside where only Conley can get it, setting up an easy field goal or an easier field goal for Cairo Santos.
25 yards. Kick is away, and it is good. And time expires here in the first half. The Kansas City Chiefs looking to improve their lot in the upcoming playoffs. 20-10 at halftime over San Diego. The Verizon halftime report comes your way after this message and a word from your local station. You're watching the NFL on CBS. Rivers throwing this side of the field to the end zone. Touchdown, Gates. Career touchdown catch number 111, which ties him with Tony Gonzalez for the most by a tight end all time. Just one of the many stories here in the first half in San Diego, where Kansas City leads the Chargers by a score of 20-10. Let's take a look at the winning play of the first half presented by H&R Block. Daniel Sorensen with a terrific interception of a Philip Rivers pass and thwart the San Diego drive. Welcome back to San Diego, everyone. Greg Gumbel along with Trent Green. One of the things that we were certain to ask Mike McCoy about was the effort he expected from his team, a team that's been completely out of it for a couple of weeks now, and I don't think you can argue with the effort made by the Chargers here today.
Well, he was quick to point out to us he likes the character of this football team. He thinks they're going to play hard. They've practiced and prepared hard all week, just as they've done all season, and that's what we're seeing here today. The biggest difference in this game is the 2 turnovers by the San Diego Chargers and the 10 points that the Kansas City Chiefs got off those turnovers.
As you take a look at the first half numbers, I would expect that Andy Reid is certainly going to keep his foot on the pedal here in the second half.
I would think so, and I'm sure he was updated about the score going on over in Denver, the fact that Denver is leading Oakland 17-0, and at what point in time do you see him start pulling off the pedal? I think right now is not the time. I think you have to continue with the game plan that you have. This is still a reachable game for the San Diego Chargers, and it's not the time to let up or to take some of your starters out.
Yeah, the time is not yet.
Exactly.
Anthony Thomas is deep and he will return this one from halfway deep into the end zone, and on the left side, out across the 25, out to about the 30, where he gets thumped down pretty well, and we check in with Jamie.
Greg, I checked in with Andy Reid going into the half. He told us in our production meeting yesterday this was going to be a unique test against a Chargers team that's not playing for a lot. He said they're handling it fine, but what the Chiefs have struggled with so far this year has been putting together a strong second half, so that will be the emphasis. He also seemed a little surprised that on the double coverage on Tyreek Hill. However, Alex Alex Smith obviously finding success in the pass game. For the Chargers, 2 injuries to report coming out of the locker room. Safety Daryl Stuckey is out. He was downgraded to out with that knee injury, and linebacker Christopher Landrum is out with a concussion. Greg?
All right, Jamie, thank you. By the way, no one in the stadium happier than Jamie when we all got up this morning and walked out of the hotel. It had been raining pretty solidly for the last 48 hours here in San Diego, and apparently Jamie just snapped her fingers and the sun came out.
Well, I'm actually impressed with how well the field is holding up. As you said, it's been steady rain here for a couple of days. The fact that they've had some bowl games played on this field, and the field's holding up pretty well.
So here are the Chiefs from the 34. And that's Tyreek Hill, who can't spin away from his man. He is spun down at the 40-yard line by Trevor Williams. This is what the Chiefs did on their first half possessions. 2 field goals, 2 touchdowns. That's good productivity.
That's about as productive as you can be. And really think of that opening drive that went down, that 10-play drive, and the Chargers holding the Chiefs to just a field goal there. And really, as I mentioned, the points off of turnovers have been the big difference.
On 2nd and 4. West. Not much there. It'll be 3rd and about 3. With the line of scrimmage just across the 40-yard line. I mentioned to you, Trent, in the first half that on occasion they've tried to get the ball to Tyreek Hill, but they haven't been able to do it as much as they'd like to.
Well, and he has such big play potential that you have to keep feeding him the football. We saw the first play here was a quick hitch throw to the outside. Just get him the ball in open space and let that speed take over. It'll be interesting how much there's been a lot of focus from the Chargers defense in making sure he's contained.
3rd and 3. Smith with time. And over the middle, that is complete close to midfield. Jeremy Maclin for the first down.
Well, that was just an awkward way that he goes down on this tackle. See his leg get bent underneath him, that right leg.
And we get a timeout called on the field as Maclin limps to the sideline.
Daryl Stuckey's the defensive back. It's Hayward that's in coverage on Maclin. Watch this right leg as Hayward falls on the back of it. It gets pinned underneath.
Meanwhile, Tyreek Hill will get back to it, but he looked to be flashing open deep downfield. This is West. West inside the 40 to the 37. Joshua Perry making the tackle. This was Tyreek Hill just on that play where Maclin was hurt. That's kind of open.
Well, with him, if you know he's even, go ahead and give him the chance because nobody's going to keep up with him running down the field. But they're able to pick up the first down with Maclin and a big gain there by West.
We talked about Hill with Casey Hayward, the quarterback. He said, no, you don't want to let him, you don't want to take the chance of trying to catch him from behind because you won't. On first down, here's Hill. Hill, 30, 20. Kind of like a pinball game, isn't it?
Well, and that's why you have to find ways to get him the football. You saw the hits that they threw to him the first play of the second half, and now this time with the aggressiveness that Bosa has shown coming off of that edge, that's why they attacked that side. They decided to fake the run one way, run the around with Tyreek Hill to the side that Bosa has been crashing down on, and we saw what he can do in the open field, just that acceleration and speed.
Something you need to know with the playoffs upcoming. Whatever game the Chiefs are involved in, he will be the fastest guy on the field.
He will be.
West. To about the 16-yard line. Andy Reid feeling, when we talked to him last night, feeling very good about his team. How they've come together, how they've honed their game plan.
He felt good about just the response that they've had. You know, we talked about the number of injuries that the San Diego Chargers have had, but when you look at the the Kansas City Chiefs. Losing Derek Johnson a few weeks ago was a big loss. That was their leader on defense, and Ramik Wilson has stepped in and played well, and other leaders have stepped in and played well. They need to get Justin Houston not playing today. They need to get him back and healthy, and that's why the bye week, if they can get the 2 seed, which right now with Oakland losing, they're in position to take that.
Number 71, defense, 5-yard penalty, still second down.
Damian Square guilty of the offside. Yeah, if they could get a week to rest and get some of their walking wounded back, they're even more formidable than they are now.
Well, we showed that statistic earlier. Since week 7 last year, their record is the best in the National Football League, and they tend to be overlooked a little bit. So getting that home game, getting that bye week would be a big boost for Andy Reid and these Chiefs.
2nd and 3. Smith throwing that side, and that is intercepted. Picked off on the far side of the field by the Chargers. Back to the 40. Jaleel Addae. 30, 20. Touchdown San Diego. No flags on the field.
It looked to me like Melvin Ingram was getting upfield and got his hand up and tipped this ball. Jaleel Addae, right at the top of your screen here. He gets his hand up and tips it. Now Davis is open in the flat, and Jaleel Addae recognizes that ball is tipped. He comes back and gets the interception. And then watch the response of the defensive players for the San Diego Chargers. They transition to blockers for Jaleel Addae, and they're the ones that help get him into the end zone.
90 yards on the return for Addae. That, by the way, his first interception of the year. The kick is good. The Chiefs were knocking on the door. A tipped pass, and Addae goes 90 yards the other way, and the Chargers are within 3. Jaleel Addae still in celebration mode, and why not? 90-yard return of the interception, and the Chargers are down 3. Niall Davis will watch this one roll out of bounds before it reaches the end zone.
Kickoff, out of bounds. San Diego beats Kansas City's ball, 35-yard line, 40-yard line, first down.
If you're with the Chargers, that's called a buzzkill. 20-17, Kansas City. We're back after this.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by Southwest. Yes to low fares with nothing to hide. That's transparency. T-Mobile. Switch to the network built for unlimited data. And by Domino's. Order online at Domino's.com.
Well, the 12th annual Skating by the Sea in Coronado. It's kind of unusual to see that much ice in one place in Southern California. Open from Thanksgiving Day through January the 2nd with nice views of the Pacific and Coronado Beach. You a big skater when you were younger? Or now?
I was, yeah.
Really?
I wasn't into hockey. I was skating enough to not fall over.
Ask me if I was.
I know you weren't.
No. Not even close. Chiefs from the 40-yard line. And Alex Smith to throw. With time. Throwing wide open in the middle of the field. That is Hill. And Hill to the 40. For a first down. That's a 20-yard pickup. Alex Smith comes out throwing very well, and take a look at his throwing hand. Kind of gets caught in the whiplash there, but he comes out throwing pretty well.
Kyle Emanuel on the hit there, and kind of an awkward way to land, but it appears he's okay as he fired that one in up the field to Tyreek Hill.
On first down, they go back to the ground game. And Charkandrick West tripped up before he could get started by Melvin Ingram. And once again, to New York, JB and Boomer.
Trevor Siemian and the Broncos.
Hey, more good news for the Kansas City Chiefs. 10 plays, 64 yards. Trevor Siemian, his second touchdown pass of the day. That's a 2-yarder to Virgil Green. How about these Broncos all over the Raiders? 24-0.
Greg Gumbel.
All right, guys, thank you. Nothing but good news indeed for the Kansas City Chiefs. Tyreek Hill goes in motion to the far side. And Alex Smith with a rocket to the 30-yard line. And Chris Conley to the 26. And that'll be another Kansas City first down.
Well, and if you're wondering, because Jeremy Maclin limped off the field last series, he's back on the field. He's been on the field this entire series, so it appears that that leg is okay.
And important to see how the Chiefs respond after that interception and the pick six.
Well, and I think it's important, and Andy Reid knows that as a play caller, when you have an interception like that, and as a quarterback, you just get frustrated because it wasn't the decision, it wasn't the throw, it was a tip pass, and come out firing, and Alex Smith, you can see his head zip on his pass on all 3 of the passes he's thrown this series.
This is West to the 25. And you obviously don't want to, you see Maclin coming onto the field, you obviously don't want to let freak accidents like tipped passes affect your game call.
Right.
Let's go down to Jamie.
Greg, just Jeremy Maclin injured on that last series, as Trent mentioned. It was the right ankle. He was on the table behind the bench. Trainers taping it up, retaping it actually, and he made sure he came off the line a few times behind the bench to make sure he was good to go.
All right, Jamie, thank you. 2nd and 9 for the Chiefs now at the San Diego 25. Smith on the move, and he's going to run out of bounds short of the 20-yard line.
Well, I think it's important to remember, and this is the response you were anticipating from the Kansas City Chiefs. You know, they were in position to go ahead and take a 17-point lead, and then all of a sudden you get the pick six, and it's a 3-point game. Then the Chargers turn around and kick the kickoff out of bounds, giving the Chiefs field position at the 40-yard line, and now the Chiefs have capitalized on that field position as they have a tough third down here.
3rd and 5. Play clock down to 2. Got the snap off. Smith throwing. Sideline. That's complete. Chris Conley, and it'll be 1st and goal. No, excuse me. That's at the 12-yard line. So this will be first down at the 12. Boy, Alex Smith, in addition to how he handles Andy Reid's offense, his running ability is something that's underrated.
Well, it's been very impressive, and he hasn't run as much this year. The guys on the team have given him a hard time, but you look here, most career rushing yards in franchise history. Yeah, this here is a long way from here, so that's I'm okay with that. I'm okay with that.
Smith throwing, and this is complete to the near side. A pickup of about 2. Anthony Sherman with the catch. Now, was that by choice? Or did they just never call your number?
You know, I would say earlier in my career, prior to the 4 knee surgeries, I was a little bit more of a runner. That by the time I got to Kansas City, I was more of a pocket guy. You can see we're going to make a little fun of the turtleneck here, you know. But look, hey, they still use it. That's a that was a big request of Lamar Hunt. He liked the turtleneck look for the players' team pictures, and you can see it's still in place with Alex Smith's headshot there as well.
Kendrick West up the middle to about the 7-yard line, and Kyle Emanuel makes the stop. You know, you kind of think that if the owner likes it, you like it too.
That's right. That's right.
Tyreek Hill looking on from the sideline.
I will say this, even though I just said that about the knee injuries and all that stuff, I was nowhere near the runner that Alex Smith is. He is that is one part of his game that he is one of the things he's very gifted at. He's very good with the football completion percentage, but he's also good on his feet, as he's shown here today with the rushing touchdown.
Here is a huge 3rd down, and before we get to that, Corey Liuget appeared to jump. Here's Walt Anderson.
Neutral zone infraction, number 94. defense. Half the distance to the goal, it's still third down.
Here leads it. Jumping on the bottom of the screen there.
So here is a 3rd and 1. And a big moment for Mike McCoy's defense. 3 tight ends. Onto the field for Kansas City and Charkandrick West in the backfield. And we get more movement up front.
Looks like James O'Shaughnessy left early on the right side for the Kansas City Chiefs.
Ball start, number 80, offense. 5-yard penalty, still third down.
Well, he got a good jump on the play.
He did. He was explosive.
He got a great jump on the play.
Yeah, he was explosive. So the difference being that San Diego jumps offside, it's only half the distance, whereas that was only about a 2.5-yard penalty. Now Kansas City gets bumped back 5, make it up a 3rd and 7. So this separates thing. I would keep an eye down here. You have Demetrius Harris, 6'7" tight end, one-on-one on the outside. Don't be shocked if you see a jump ball going that direction.
Smith pulls it down, slides down at the 5. That's short of a first down. And that will bring the field goal unit on. And we have a flag down on the near side. And it's going to go against the Chargers.
Holding, number 35, defense. Half the distance to the goal from the end of the run. Automatic first down.
Robert McClain is the defensive back guilty of the hold, and that'll give Kansas City a 1st and goal.
Yeah, and it was Robert McClain that was matched up one-on-one with Demetrius Harris on the bottom of the screen there, and Harris was trying to work to that back corner, and McClain grabbed onto him and wouldn't let him go. As you see, John Pagano not happy with that call. Coming into the screen right there, you see that left arm wrapped around the shoulder of Demetrius Harris.
4th Kansas City first down by way of a San Diego penalty today. Alex Smith pulls it down, now throws, incomplete.
Trying to get the shuffle pass to Travis Kelce, working behind the line of scrimmage. He's sprinting to the left with Tyreek Hill out in front, trying to just flip it with that right hand to Travis Kelce, and Chargers not falling for it. Late outlet to the outside to Tyreek Hill as Alex Smith took a pretty big shot on that play.
Corey Toomer putting the pressure on Hill. 2nd and goal. All kinds of time for Alex Smith and just threw it away. Like everything fell apart for Alex Smith in the secondary.
Yeah, that looked like they were almost trying to set up an inside screen or an inside dump down to Demetrius Harris. They had Travis Kelce to the left slot and Tyreek Hill outside to the right, and trying to draw the defense out of there and sneak one in on the inside. And once again, San Diego, that's 2 plays in a row. San Diego not falling for those gimmicky plays.
3rd and goal. What a stop this would be for the Chargers if they could hold Kansas City to 3. And we get a timeout called. Official comes running in from the sideline and a timeout is called. And San Diego used the timeout to bring a halt to the action on the field. Meanwhile, Sunday, January 22nd, 18 people will go on the run from a team of expert hunters. CBS presents the real-life thriller Hunted, premiering Sunday, January 22nd after the AFC Championship game. Only CBS.
Well, Mike McCoy had about a 30-yard sprint to get down to the sideline to get the officials' attention to get that timeout called.
A reminder once again, what's at stake here? With Oakland losing, Kansas City winning here. If that should stay the way it's headed right now, then Kansas City would vault from the number 5 seed all the way up to the 2 seed. They win the championship in the AFC West and they get a first round bye. goal. West, touchdown. That looked really easy.
Well, looked very familiar, too. It's the same touchdown pass they threw earlier with the rollout. You spin opposite, which is what Alex Smith did. West just goes up and out into the flat. The three receivers to the right crash down inside. It's very seldom do you see the same play work twice in the same area of the field, but Kansas City deciding to go back to it, and San Diego not making the adjustment from the earlier play.
So Kansas City gets the touchdown. 60-yard drive, and Santos for the extra point. And once again, the lead is 10. 3:48 to play here in the third. And the Chiefs looking for a better slot in the postseason. The Kansas City Chiefs go 60 yards in 12 plays and take 6.5 minutes off the clock to grab a 10-point lead at 27-17. Welcome to those of you who've been watching the Broncos and the Raiders. Greg Gumbel, Trent Green, Jamie Erdahl here at Qualcomm Stadium in San Diego. And we'll bring you up to date on what's happened here, as well as keep you updated on what's going on in Denver after this.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by the all-new Civic Hatchback from Honda. And by Nationwide. Nationwide is on your side.
Back in San Diego, 3:48 to play in the third. And from the 25-yard line, San Diego now looking at a 10-point deficit. See what's at stake. Oakland in the lead. Kansas City trying to leapfrog them. And Phillip Rivers on the crossing pattern. Complete to Tyrell Williams. And Williams has first down yardage and much more out to the 42-yard line. So if you had Andy Reid's wish list, everything's happening the way he would like it to happen so far, with Oakland on the short end of the score at Denver, while Kansas City leads here. If those scores stand up, Kansas City wins the AFC West and grabs the number 2 seed at a first-round bye.
First-round bye and a home playoff game in the divisional round, so a lot at stake here today.
You got safety going. We're all right. They're going to be sweating for you, okay? 380. Yeah.
The pitch is for Andre Williams, and Williams racked up behind the line of scrimmage by Ramik Wilson. Here's what's happened so far today.
Gates getting his 111th touchdown catch of his career to tie Tony Gonzalez for the most all-time by a tight end in NFL history. Then a rushing touchdown by Alex Smith, and no, it's not the same play twice from different camera angles. It's actually 2 touchdown passes to Charcandrick West, and that's what gets us to the 27-17 score.
2nd and 12 now for San Diego. And there's some movement up front. I believe maybe the left guard or left tackle had moved.
Full start, number 79, offense. 5-yard penalty, second down.
Kenny Wiggins. Those are the numbers so far.
10 points off of turnovers by the Kansas City Chiefs came off the 2 Phillip Rivers interceptions, one because of the pass rush, the other just a great play by Daniel Sorensen in the corner of the end zone. And then the 7 points the Chargers got on the turnover was a tipped ball by Alex Smith and returned by Jaleel Adai 90 yards for a touchdown to make this a 3-point game prior to Kansas City driving back down and making this a 10-point spread.
Now it's a 2nd and 17 as we go under the 2-minute mark for the third period. Rivers, far side of the field, incomplete. I want to ask you about that first round bye. If you are a team that's playing well, or your coach has a team playing well, because we have a player down on the field, that's Dontrell Inman. I wonder how badly you want to play that following week, or would you prefer the first round bye?
Sometimes that's an important thing. You want to keep the momentum going and the healthy going, but you know the Chiefs are in need of getting Justin Houston back, and that would be a big game.
We'll take a timeout. We're back in San Diego. Philip Rivers is looking to convert a huge 3rd and 17.
Bring it hot! Hot! All right, here we go now. Hey, Juice, watch out. Juice, watch out. Hey, go rock it. We'll chip over here and rock. Go rock. Delta! Cut!
Rivers with good protection. Short little pass is complete to Hillman, and Hillman across the 45 to the 47. Not nearly enough for a first down as Ramik Wilson takes him down. Let's go down to Jamie.
Greg, a quick update from the Chiefs sideline. Eric Berry suffered a heel injury late in the first half, and he is questionable to return to this game.
All right, Jamie, thank you.
Greg, you just talked to me about how important the bye week is. It just got that much more important if Eric Berry is trying to come back from an injury. So we talked about Justin Houston trying to come back off an injury and add Berry to that list.
Tyreek Hill playing that one from inside his own 10-yard line, and here he goes. Tyreek Hill down the sideline for the touchdown. No flags. "95 yards. For Hill, it's his second return of a punt for a touchdown this year. He also has a kickoff return for a TD.
Well, we've talked about it the entire game. Just his acceleration when he gets in the open field, the amount of speed that he has. The biggest thing he has to worry about is stiff-arming his own player. He gets Steven Nelson. Watch, he stiff-arms him to stay in bounds as he tiptoes down that sideline. Once he's able to get Nelson out of his way, gets into the end zone.
What an explosion he is. He's unbelievable.
As you mentioned, Greg, 12 touchdowns now on the season for him. 6 receiving, 3 rushing, 2 in a punt return, 1 in a kickoff return. Take another look to see if he's in bounds. Looked pretty clear to us that he stayed in bounds the whole way.
And the officials agree. Santos for the extra point, and it is good. Kansas City, big plays today.
JB and Boomer in New York. Oakland's first scores since Derek Carr went to injury last week.
Good for the rookie Connor Cook. Throws it right there to Amari Cooper. 32 yards. They won for 2 points. They were unable to convert on that. 24-6. Oakland did get it ball back by an interception, but just punted it ball back to the Denver Broncos.
Let's take you back to Greg Gumbel, Trent Green, and Jamie Erdahl.
All right, guys, thank you. Meanwhile, Tyreek Hill, not since Abner Haynes back in 1960, as a Kansas City rookie, recorded 12 total touchdowns in a season. Isaiah burst deep. Line drive kick bounces at about the 10, and here comes Burst. Up to about the 25 and no more. 53 seconds on the clock. Let's go back to that kickoff return. I was just amazed he didn't fair catch it.
Well, and the fact that he caught it at the 5-yard line. Watch as he's looking around. You see his head going down, and he's looking back and forth, trying to judge where the pressure was going to come from. And once he got the ball, he was able to make the first defender miss. And then it's all a track meet at that point in time.
And he's going to win all the track meets.
Such an explosive player.
So Kansas City has doubled up on San Diego, and this is Andre Williams, and Williams straight ahead for about 5. 34 points marks Kansas City's largest output of the season. Jamie.
Greg, Chargers offensive side of the ball this time, left guard Orlando Franklin. He's questionable to return with a shoulder injury. And Dontrell Inman, who was injured on that last series, he just went in for a concussion evaluation.
All right, Jamie, thank you. This is Williams again. And Williams picking his spots and picks his way to a first down to the 36-yard line.
First down, Chargers.
And that would appear to be the final play of the third quarter.
Well, I think that's the right decision for the Chargers. Not trying to get all the points back at one time. Let's get a sustained drive going for them.
End of 3. Kansas City leading at 34-17. We're back after this message and a word from your local station. Along with our producer, Jim Rickoff, our director, Suzanne Smith, Greg Gumbel, Trent Green, and Jamie Erdahl, and our terrific CBS Sports crew here at Qualcomm Stadium in San Diego. We go to the fourth quarter. Kansas City with a 34-17 lead. And if the score stands up in Denver as it is now, Kansas City 15 minutes away from becoming the number 2 seed in the AFC in a first-round bye. Rivers going to go deep. This side of the field incomplete. Intended for Tyrell Williams. Let's get you back to our studios in New York, JB and Boomer.
Boomer, Washington smells the postseason.
That's right. They win here today, JB. They'll get the number 6 seed, barring a tie between Detroit and Green Bay tonight. Cousins to Reed, 1 yard. That comes after a field goal. They have now tied the game. 8:13 left in the fourth quarter, 10-10.
Back to Greg Gumbel.
All right, guys, points don't come easy against that Giants defense, Trent.
They've been impressive all year long. You consider the 2 games that they beat Dallas and what they were able to do to that offense.
Second and 10. Rivers, that's incomplete at the 40-yard line, intended for Jeremy Davis, number 81. Trent, I just love listening to Philip Rivers at the line of scrimmage. He's like a Las Vegas show all by himself.
Well, it's been pretty impressive. We talked to him yesterday, all the different calls that he makes at the line of scrimmage. He said, of course, you have to have some dummy calls mixed in there. You need to change things up from week to week. We've heard flower, tiger, tulip. We've heard delta. We've heard all kinds of words at the line of scrimmage. And he said they have to do some self-scouting to make sure they're not using the same words over and over again for defenses to get a clue.
Nemo.
Third and 10.
Hey, load it. Delta.
Rivers, complete. This is Tyrell Williams, and he's going to be short of the first down. Marcus Peters shoved him out of bounds. This is Philip Rivers a couple of weeks ago.
Hey, Oprah Reagan.
Oprah Reagan.
Down by 17, going for it here on 4th and 4.
And we get some movement. Jumping was Chris Jones. And it'll be Jones guilty.
Neutral zone infraction, number 95, defense. 5-yard penalty, first down.
So that's a first down for San Diego.
Well, that's a veteran quarterback getting a rookie defensive lineman. Easy first down for San Diego when you can get him to jump off sides.
So Andre Williams back in the backfield. And Rivers will give it to him and picks his way across midfield to about the 47-yard line. Hey, tonight, a 60 Minutes investigation. They are beautiful islands where you can vacation or buy a passport. That's right, passports and citizenship for sale tonight. Only CBS. You know, Le'Veon Bell, Trent, is the flag bearer for patience at the line of scrimmage, but Andre Williams has been impressive at the way he's carried the ball.
All day long, he showed great patience with the offensive line, letting them develop their blocks, getting the running lane, and then having the acceleration to get the yards.
This is Williams again. Saw the hole, squeaked through, and has the first down to the 42. Ramik Wilson making the tackle.
And before you start thinking the 17-point game here in the fourth quarter that either of these teams is going to think the game's over, go back to week 1. San Diego Chargers had a 17-point lead in the fourth quarter with 10.5 minutes to go, and Kansas City mounted the comeback to tie it, send it to overtime, and that man right there, Alex Smith, scored a rushing touchdown to win it in overtime. So you're not going to convince either of these coaches or either of the sidelines that this game has already been settled.
Ricky. Stay Ricky. 380. Behind.
Rivers, quick pass over the middle and dropped by Andre Williams.
Well, we're going back and watching as it looks like San Diego has an injury. Another one of their linemen, unfortunately.
Looks like Joe Barksdale, the right tackle, will take a timeout here with 12:38 to play. Joe Barksdale was able to walk off the field. Meanwhile, for the San Diego Chargers, a 2nd and 10.
Hey. All right. Set.
They cannot waste possession from this point on. Rivers under pressure, got his man Gates across the field. Gates to the 25, Gates to the 21-yard line. First down, Chargers.
Well, I think you see Antonio Gates laughing there because he thought for a second he was going to try and hurdle Marcus Peters over on the sideline, and just the drag route underneath the zone coverage and getting to the outside. He did a little gallop there as he thought he was going to get a hurdle in, and he and Peters had a laugh after that.
20-yard pickup.
Set. 380.
This is Williams, and Williams inside the 15, inside the 10. It'll be 1st and goal for San Diego.
Well, this is the very thing that Mike McCoy talked to us about. He loves the character of this team, the no quit, the no excuses in terms of all the injuries they've had to battle, the number of different running backs they've gone through. 4 running backs on IR, no Melvin Gordon today. Aaron Williams taking over, now has 90 yards rushing on the day.
And came in with not a single rushing yard on the season. Melvin Gordon looking on from the sideline. Inactive today with hip and knee injuries. 1st and goal. This is Williams. And Williams wrapped up by Chris Jones.
I don't think Aaron Williams was getting out of that bear hug of Chris Jones. Chris Jones gets him in the backfield and no letting go there.
Kind of frightening. Chris Jones at 6'6", 310. Do you get the feeling he may even end up getting a little bigger?
He could. He's still a young guy, just a rookie. And Dontari Poe talked to us yesterday about the energy he brings to the defensive line meeting room.
2nd and goal. Rivers, all kinds of time. Gonna loft it for this corner of the end zone, incomplete. Antonio Gates surrounded by Chiefs. It'll be 3rd and goal.
Releasing inside, trying to skate back to the outside, double teamed, and Parker and Sorensen. Rivers throwing that away more than anything. Chiefs lead the National Football League in takeaways inside the red zone. Sorensen had an interception in the end zone earlier in this game, giving them 8 on the season.
Third and goal at the 11. Rivers throwing, end zone, in and out of the hands of Gates. And they'll bring the field goal unit on.
Yeah, you need to have 3 scores anyway, so why pressure luck here? 4th and goal from the 11-yard line as you see him try and back shoulder it to Gates.
He was that close to becoming the all-time leader in touchdown catches among tight ends.
Well, and he was jockeying for position there with Sorensen. That left arm was never able to get back to the football, so really trying to just make a one-arm catch and not able to get it done.
Josh Lambo from 29 yards out, and it's good. San Diego puts 3 more on the board. 10:19 to play in the 4th. 34-20. Chiefs.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by Verizon. Join a better network because better matters. Live by Night from Warner Brothers Pictures in theaters January 13th. And by Geico. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance.
Well, it might be a little bit early for an onside kick, but the Chiefs are lining up that way as if they expect one, and see what Lambeau does. Pops it up in the air. It is down at midfield, and let's see who covered it. The Chiefs say they do, and they did. Chris Conley went right up in the air, had his hand on the football, but it was Chiefs underneath when it came down. Meanwhile, earlier today, how about the New England Patriots? Went into Miami and secured the #1 seed and home field advantage throughout the AFC playoffs with a win over the Dolphins. Tony Romo played one series today for the Cowboys through a touchdown pass. And meanwhile, Tom Savage, concussion in the game that I have to wonder what he was doing in to begin with, Trent, because there's no way they could improve their situation. Why would you risk your starting quarterback with injury?
You were already locked up into that 4 spot, and the only thing you could say is maybe you're trying to get him reps because he hadn't gotten a lot of snaps this season, but that was a costly injury.
This is Charkandrick West. And West to about the 47-yard line. Meanwhile, the AFC playoff situation looks like this. New England #1, Oakland #2. Meanwhile, Kansas City with a win here and an Oakland loss. And they'd switch places. And Trent, I want to go back to what we were talking about a little earlier. As a player, would you prefer that week off, even if your team is on a roll?
You know, I think a lot of it has to do with the health of your team, and right now with Justin Houston and Eric Berry banged up, I think it is a necessity to get that extra week. And plus, if you look at Andy Reid's record with an extra week to prepare coming off of a bye week, he's got an outstanding record.
Charkandrick West around the right side and buried at the 45.
And not that I'm avoiding your question, because you asked me as a player, as a quarterback, if I've got some rhythm and momentum going, I'd rather just keep playing. I wouldn't want that week. So that's more directly what you were asking me. But I think as an overall picture as a whole, you'd want to look at the health of your team.
There's Eric Berry, who's been sidelined much of the second half with the sore heel, and there's Justin Houston. It would be vital for the Chiefs to get him back for the playoffs. 3rd and 5. Kansas City 6 out of 7 on 3rd down today. Make it 7 out of 8. Jeremy Maclin. And Maclin down at about the 33-yard line, making a concerted effort to stay inbounds and run the clock.
Catching the Chargers in man-to-man, and Maclin in that right slot, just running a crossing route there. Conley, you could see, was on the left slot. They just ran one over the top of the other. Hayward had to bubble over the top of that other route. He's able to bring in the catch and pick up the 1st down.
Now Niall Davis into the backfield. This is Davis. Inside the 30 to about the 28-yard line, brought down by Dwight Lowry. The NFL on CBS is now on CBS All Access. Stream your local games live. Go to cbs.com/NFL now to try it free.
Well, and Alex Smith has put together a heck of a ball game today. 19 of 26, 250 yards passing, 2 touchdowns, and the 1 interception was a tipped ball at the line of scrimmage. Also the 5 carries and 25 yards and a rushing touchdown. Pretty much the way he's played all season for the Chiefs.
And he kind of tripped coming out of the gate. Melvin Ingram.
Well, he tripped, and I think that, sorry to interrupt, Greg, I thought that was because of that trip. I think it was intended to be a handoff to Niall Davis, and Davis not getting the ball.
Yeah, by the time Alex recovered, Niall Davis was by him. So it's 3rd and 9. Clock continues to move. 6:55 to play in the 4th. And Tyreek Hill in the backfield, and there he goes. Hill with blockers. Very close to a 1st down. Jatavis Brown makes the tackle. And it looks like he has gotten enough for the first.
Just his acceleration is so different than most players in the National Football League, if not all the players in the National Football League. He hits this ball, and look at that guy. There's just a small window there, right? To be able to accelerate and get to that, you know a defender is coming over to make the tackle, but his acceleration after that quick stutter, it's such a difference maker for the Kansas City Chiefs.
Meanwhile, for Kansas City, their 26th first down of the day. That's a season high for them. And back to the ground game with Davis, who pushes his way to the 20-yard line. Let's get in another update from the NFL Today in New York. JB and Boomer.
Giants are motivated.
Yeah, they are. The Redskins needed this game to go to the playoffs. 40-yard field goal by Robbie Gould. The Giants take a 13-10 lead. 2:12 left in the game. Redskins win their end, barring a tie between Detroit and Green Bay tonight, guys.
Greg and Trent.
All right, guys, that Robbie Gould has always been a pretty good weapon. He was in Chicago, and he appears to be a good pickup by the New York Giants. This is Hill. And his avenue of escape is cut off and backed up to about the 22. Trevor Williams coming up from the corner. So it's third down.
Well, and this was the formula the Chiefs wanted to have on this series. After the onside kick didn't work, they've just kept the ball inbounds. They kept it in play and continue to keep that clock winding down.
Andy Reid. "25th year as an NFL coach." Alex Smith, quick pass, and that is to Hill. And he makes it just inside the 20-yard line, and San Diego calls a timeout. So San Diego uses its second timeout here in the second half with 4:35 to play. While we have a moment, remind you the NFL regular season concludes with Sunday Night Football tonight at 8:30 p.m. Eastern on NBC. Trent, I want to tell you once again, working another season with you, I've learned more football than I could have ever imagined. This has been a fun season.
It has been. We've been fortunate to have a lot of good football games, and I've enjoyed working with you once again. This is year number 3 working with you, and enjoyed it thoroughly.
I know it feels longer, but yeah, it's all right.
We were just talking about it yesterday, just how quick this season has gone, and with good football games, that's the way it feels.
37 yards, Cairo Santo. And that will once again make this a 3-score game in favor of the Kansas City Chiefs. 37-20 with 4:31 to play. Can't blame them for being a happy band of Kansas City Chiefs on the sideline. Up 37-20 with 4:31 to play. Isaiah Burse is deep for the upcoming kick. Burse from the 1. And just across the 20 to the 21-yard line. And penalty marker flies. We get a little pushing and shoving at the conclusion of the play.
James O'Shaughnessy with the tackle.
And let's see what the penalty is all about. Such things have been known to happen in AFC West Division games.
After the play, personal foul, unnecessary roughness, number 51, receiving team. Half the distance to the goal. It'll be first down San Diego. Timeout.
That penalty is on Kyle Emanuel, the second-year linebacker. Extracurriculars at the bottom of the pile. 4:24 to play here in the fourth.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by Subway. Search for better. And by Walmart. Save money, live better.
Back in San Diego, 4:24 to play. Philip Rivers. Toss over the middle. This is Tyrell Williams, and Williams out of bounds across the 25-yard line. At the very top of this day, we talked about how this could quite possibly be the last game the Chargers play in San Diego. The Spanos family has said that it will wait until the conclusion of the regular season before moving ahead or not moving ahead with plans to move the team.
Well, and we did. We had a chance to talk to the coaches, and we talked to the players about it, and they said, you know, we went through this a year ago. We don't know what's going to happen. We have to focus on playing and not get concerned with whether we move, and that's easier said than done when you start talking about the organization, the people within the organization that have lived in San Diego for such a long time.
Meanwhile, the other thing surrounding this team, of course, is the status of head coach Mike McCoy. The rumors continue to bubble up and fester about him and whether or not he will continue as a head coach here. And you know, even he understands it's easy to say we've had a lot of injuries, and sometimes that's not enough reason.
Well, and he understands it's a performance-based business. It's about wins. It's about winning football games. In his first 2 years, they went 9-7. They made the playoffs his first year, but the last 2 years, 4-12 a year ago, and going to end up 5-11 this year.
Meanwhile, Antonio Gates on the receiving end. 3.5 to play. Rivers gives it to Hillman. And Hillman, we get a penalty marker on the far side of the field.
Penalty flag at the line of scrimmage.
Well, here's the thing with Mike McCoy. He didn't want to use the injury thing as an excuse, and the team clearly hasn't given up.
Illegal shift, number 89 in offense was never set prior to the snap. 5-yard penalty, it's still third down.
But it's about winning football games, right?
All right, let's get another update from New York. Once again, JP in Boomer.
Washington was driving.
Their playoff hopes are dimming, guys. Dominique Rodgers-Cromartie's second interception of the day of Kirk Cousins right here. 18 seconds left to go in this game. The Giants have the ball on the other side of the 50. It looks like the Redskins' playoff hopes are all but extinguished. We just don't know where they're going to be, but we do know that Green Bay and Detroit both will make the playoffs.
Greg Gumbel.
All right, guys, thank you. Philip Rivers, far side of the field and almost intercepted by Ramik Wilson.
Pass is incomplete intended for Antonio Gates. Broken up by Ramik Wilson. 4th down, 6 yards to go.
Not a whole lot of pressure on that one. He just underthrew it a bit.
Just slightly underthrown to the outside, and that's been kind of the year for Philip Rivers. He's put together, this is now his 8th season of over 4,000 yards passing. He's got 32 touchdowns on the season, which tied for the second most in his career, but he also has 21 interceptions, which is the most he's ever had in his career in a season. So really been an up and down year. Obviously a bunch of different players because of the injuries that he's throwing to, sometimes trying to do too much.
On 4th and 6, he's complete midfield to Dontrell Inman, and that'll be a first down. 3 minutes to play. And we have a player down, and once again, that's Joe Barksdale. He was injured earlier in the half, and looks like it's a struggle for him to get up.
Tamba Ali rolls into his lower legs. Tamba coming off one side, Barksdale blocking on the other, and as Tamba's trying to get to Philip Rivers, rolls into the leg of Barksdale.
You know, it's got to be such a frustration for not just Mike McCoy, for any coach, Trent. The one thing you can't coach against is injuries.
You know, and that's why we kept bringing it up to him. He didn't want to bring it up. He just said, you know, that's part of it. You have to overcome it. The fact of the matter remains is the number of guys that injured, and they're not just guys. We're talking their superstars, their main guys. 4 different running backs on injured reserve. Melvin Gordon only playing part of the time because of injury. Losing Manti Te'o, losing both starting quarterbacks, Jason Verrett and Brandon Flowers. It's just been one of those type of years. And when you look at the fact that 13 of their 16 games have been decided by one score or fewer. They've been in a lot of football games and not being able to get it done. So there would be that argument where you could say, give Mike McCoy another year because of those things. Then you have the argument saying, but look at the number of wins over the last 2 seasons. Take the injuries away from it. It's a performance-based thing. So you can understand why people are making both sides of the argument.
Yeah, you see Melvin Gordon there in the blue hood, and earlier you saw Danny Woodhead and Keenan Allen right there. Woodhead on the left, Keenan Allen on the right. Those are keys to a good offense.
Those are major pieces. Those are major pieces that you don't have out on the field, and Mike McCoy recognizes that. And you know, he's always been great with us. When we get him in the production meetings, we get an opportunity to talk with him, and you know, it remains to be seen what's going to happen.
On first down, Rivers. Time running out on it. He escapes. He's on the move, looking, and throws it incomplete. Isaiah Burst, the intended receiver, stops the clock with 2:31 to play. You and I were talking about Philip Rivers earlier. You know, he doesn't have a Super Bowl championship on his resume, but there's no doubt in our minds that he's a future Hall of Famer.
Oh, I believe so totally. When you look at what he's been able to do and look at the numbers compared to the other great quarterbacks in the history of the National Football League, it would be hard not to place him in Canton. And I know that label of not having the Super Bowl, but I don't think you can deny the fact that Philip Rivers has had a Hall of Fame type career.
Pass to this side is complete. This is Inman, and Inman out of bounds at close to the 30-yard line. Well, the New York Giants a winner, and this is the way the NFC playoff picture looks now, and Detroit is in, as Boomer Esiason told us, and so are the Green Bay Packers.
So all to be played for tonight will determine who gets the home game next week in the wild card round.
Ready? White. Ready, hot. Set. Easy, easy. Patriot. 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 Okay. Delta. Set.
Got the snap off in time. Rivers. And incomplete to Hillman. And by the way, that little proviso that you added there about, well, no, he doesn't have a championship on his resume. I hate that tag. It says that people need that to qualify for enshrinement into the Hall of Fame, especially when it comes to a team game.
Well, and really the only position that falls into that category is quarterback. You know, you look at the other positions, and it's like, how good was this player for how long of a period of time? Was he sustained greatness for a long period of time? And that's really what it should be. But for many reasons, the quarterback position is dictated, or a lot of it's dictated on championship.
All right, this is Ronnie Hillman, and Hillman down the sideline and out of bounds close to the 15-yard line. In fact, inside the 15 to the 13. 2:13 to play.
And there are the guys. There's obviously the Hall of Famers that don't have the championships. The Dan Marino and Warren Moon, Dan Fouts. I mean, those are great quarterbacks. Those are all-time great quarterbacks and deserve to be in the Hall of Fame. But I think Philip Rivers has sustained a level of greatness for a long time in his career, and he has many more years to go. So don't be surprised if the numbers just keep growing and growing.
Rivers, and wide open at the goal line, touchdown to Hunter Henry, the rookie tight end out of Arkansas.
Eighth touchdown catch on the season for Hunter Henry, and that now puts Philip Rivers to 33 touchdown passes on the season, the second most ever in his career. So as I said earlier, it's been an up and down year when you look at the completion percentage and the interceptions and some of the things good and bad and the number of injuries and all the things. It's hard to argue with the numbers.
89-yard drive. Lambo for the extra point, and it's good. So it's back to a 10-point spread. Kansas City 37-27 with 2:08 to play. Next weekend, conference play heats up here on CBS Sports on Saturday. Last year's SEC co-champ Texas A&M gets a big test at South Carolina. Then on Sunday, a battle of two of the Big Ten's best. Wisconsin visits Purdue in a top 15 showdown here on the road to the Final Four. CBS Sports.
Let's talk a little bit about the Kansas City Chiefs. It looks like they're going to secure that number 2 spot based on what's going on in the Oakland-Denver game. And as you can see there, 24-6 Denver with 2 minutes to go. So Kansas City is a well-rounded team. They've won games offensively. They've won games with their defense, getting turnovers and creating points. We had the game in Atlanta where Eric Berry had the pick 6, and then he had the 2-point return that got the victory in that game. And then that man right there, Tyreek Hill, has contributed in many ways, especially here in recent weeks with the return game as well as what he does on offense.
Onside kick headed this way, and this one is grabbed by Chris Conley of the Kansas City Chiefs. Meanwhile, Tyreek Hill, you have to start your game planning if you're going to play against the Kansas City Chiefs with him. 7 touchdowns in his last 5 games coming into today. 1 return, 1 rushing, 1 receiving at Denver, 2 against Oakland, a 68-yard TD run against Tennessee, and a 70-yarder Week 16 against the Denver Broncos.
Well, we talked early in the game about Andy Reid and how aware is he of what's going on in Denver with the Raiders game, and Nick Foles is now in the game.
That's aware.
I'm sure someone got in his ear on the sideline and said, hey, we're there. We got to take care of Alex at this point in time.
And with that, we come to the 2-minute warning. Nope, timeout. So San Diego uses its 3rd and final timeout, stop the clock before the 2-minute warning. But do you agree with that? If you're going to face the Kansas City Chiefs, you have to start worrying about Tyreek Hill and how he's going to be used against you.
Well, I think that's the number one thing when you're looking at their offense. Where is Travis Kelce, and what is the matchup you're going to have on Travis Kelce? Because of his speed and his size to utilize the middle of the field. And then how are you going to contain Tyreek Hill? When he comes on the field, are you going to try matching him with someone? Do you have someone you can match with him that has the speed to be able to keep up with him? Or do you try and go to more of a zone and try and keep him contained? And teams have struggled with that all year. And now when you all of a sudden focus on those two guys, Jeremy Maclin standing right there next to Travis Kelce, all of a sudden he gets more involved in the game plan. 4 catches for 53 yards today. 180! What's up?
This is Niall Davis. And Davis to the 45, and that'll take us to the 2-minute warning. Here's something for opposing defenses to think about. Travis Kelce, just 1 catch for 8 yards, and they still put 37 on the board. So here's a look at the AFC playoff picture. We figure Kansas City is going to win this one and win the AFC West. And they will be the number 2 seed overall in the AFC. They'll get a bye week, while the Oakland Raiders fall to the number 5 seed, and they will play next week. Third and 9. Niall Davis. Not much there. And San Diego out of timeouts now, cannot stop the clock any longer. As the time winds down, once again, our thanks to Jim and Suzanne, our producer and director, and all the men and women who worked in the truck all season long. They have been terrific, and we thank you. Mike Gluck, our spotter here in the booth, and Joe Castellano, our statistician. And thanks to them as well, because as they so often point out, we couldn't do anything without them.
Yeah, thank you to the entire crew, everybody in the truck and all the camera people. It's just been a tremendous season.
We have a timeout on the field now. 1:10 remaining here in San Diego. And if you are just joining us, the Kansas City Chiefs on the verge of claiming the AFC West Championship. They lead at 37-27. That AFC West Championship will come with a first-round bye and a week off next week. Tonight on CBS begins with 60 Minutes and an investigation on where passports and citizenship are for sale. It's followed by the series premiere of Ransom, plus a new episode of Pure Genius and NCIS Los Angeles. Tonight, only CBS. Tyreek Hill once again. An outstanding performance today. No Chargers are deep for this punt. The penalty marker is down as this ball rolls inside the 5 and is downed at the half-yard line. Well, Andy Reid is going to coach all the way to the end of the game.
Illegal formation offense, 5 players lined up in the backfield. It's a 5-yard penalty. We'll replay 4th down.
He's still not happy about it.
Mentioned earlier, Andy Reid, it's his 4th year with Kansas City, his 18th year as a head coach, and his 25th as a coach in the National Football League.
See there, 184 wins, 10th most all time, regular season and postseason.
So here's a do-over. We'll see if Dustin Colquitt can do it again. Chargers coming after the punt. They don't get there, and this ball will bounce just outside the 10 and roll down. You know, he pretty much did it again. How about that? Dustin Colquitt gets all the kudos on the sideline. We come down to the last 48 seconds.
Well, we had another exciting game here today, Gray. We had 2 touchdown passes by Alex Smith, a rushing touchdown by Alex Smith, and of course Tyreek Hill, 95-yard return. We had the Chargers with a 90-yard interception return for touchdown.
And I don't think there's any reason to think that these Chiefs can't play everyone tough come postseason.
Well, if you start looking at their numbers, and that's the thing that gets skewed a little bit. So total offense, they're 20th in the league. Total defense, they're 24th, but they're 5th in scoring defense, allowing less than 19 points a game. As you can see here, 27 by San Diego today. But this team is number 1 in the league in takeaways. The team is number 1 in punt return yards with Tyreek Hill. They're scoring points in many different ways, and that's what's allowing them to beat teams in so many different ways.
Ronnie Hillman gets an opening and busts it out across the 20 to the 21-yard line. This will be Kansas City's 6th consecutive win on the road. And Ronnie Hillman carries, and let's see if that's the last play of the game for the Chiefs and of the season for the San Diego Chargers. Yeah, they're not going to do it again. Antonio Gates with a historic touchdown catch today.
Historic and matches the total of Chiefs all-time great Tony Gonzalez with 111 touchdown catches by a tight end.
Trent, it's been great working with you again. Great job.
Lots of fun, Greg. I appreciate it.
Our final score, the Kansas City Chiefs over the San Diego Chargers by a score of 37-27. Kansas City wins the AFC West, vaults into the number 2 position in the AFC playoffs. They will have a bye week before resuming their pursuit of a Super Bowl. Tonight on CBS, it's 60 Minutes, followed by Ransom, Pure Genius, and NCIS Los Angeles. Once again, Happy New Year, everyone, to you and yours from all of us. For Trent and Jamie, and for everyone on our crew, Greg Gumbel saying so long from San Diego. You've been watching the NFL on CBS.